Last week on the Al Nicoletti Show, we got Mike Gecka live in the house.
When you do something, you do it right. You go above and beyond. You do good things happen. If you're at a job and you're looking at your watch all day, you're in the wrong job. The number one thing, the thing that I love, other than hiring veterans or family member, is giving back. If you have an annoying neighbor that's got to go, J-Dog can make that happen. I'm just kidding.
I was about to ask you, though. Tell me a story
Just kidding. Whether I've got to get on a truck, I've got to call my son up, have him help me out. We're going to make it happen if you're in a pinch.
I got you a t-shirt and a hoodie. Gecka's putting on the shirt right now.
And for those of you that want to know if I'm legit, I'll just say class 168. There's always going to be people that need help. And so the more people involved in doing that, the better.
What is going on, everybody? Hey, everybody, Al Nicoletti here. I can't wait to introduce the guest today that is on the Al Nicoletti Show. It is going to be high octane, high energy. He's going to be just going on and talk about the most substantive things in the real estate wholesaling industry, especially in the Texas market. And he is going to talk about it and give you a lot of golden nuggets and tips and tricks on the wholesaling game. But before we get into that, and of course, before we get into the Al Nicoletti introduction, just so everybody knows, if you want to check out all the amazing guests that have been on the Al Nicoletti Show, make sure you check out the Al Nicoletti YouTube channel, the Instagram @Attorney Nicoletti, the Al Nicoletti Show, which is on iTunes and Spotify. And of course, check out the Facebook page under Al Nicoletti and the business page. It's all there. All the stuff on probate, quiet title, partitions, and of course, all the guests and the micro content dropping out from all the guests. So stay tuned. This is going to be a wild one. I think this would be the most wild one I've had of the year because he's just got a lot of energy. So everybody stay tuned. I can't wait for everybody to ask your questions, engage. That's going to be the most important thing for you to do on the Al Nicoletti Show. Let's get the engagement, get the questions, ask the guest anything you want, and let's make it happen. So here we go. Hey, everybody. My name is Al Nicoletti. I'm an attorney here in Florida, and welcome to the Al Nicoletti Show, where I bring on real estate super investors, rising rock stars, movers and shakers, and leaders of clubs in their community that educate, entertain, and inspire all things on Florida real estate and really going beyond Florida on the real estate game on how you can take your company to the next level. On my show today, we have super investor, wholesaler from the Texas market, Rana. Let me just tell you something before we introduce Ron. This guy is high energy, high octane. He's like the horse ready to come out of the gate at the Derby. Like as soon as he gets on camera, he's going to be ready to rock and roll. I see him backstage, and when I met Ron in Tampa, I knew the first time I met him, he had so much energy. He was ready to go and talking about real estate wholesaling and we're going to get into all his stuff on coffee and contracts and his amazing Facebook group, the wholesaling. We'll talk about that. The Wholesaling RE 101, the Facebook group, which he's just blown up over the years. But before we bring Ron on, let me just give you a little bit of an introduction. We're going to have Ron tell a story. We have to hear the story. But he's been in real estate. He's been crushing it in the Texas market. He's a speaker. He does motivational speaking. He's a serial entrepreneur. But one of the best things and the highlights of Ron, which he will get into and talk about the story, but how he's the owner of all these businesses, an owner of Investopia Online, the Houston's premier wholesale outlet, the owner of the callvirtuals.com, the owner of the Dispo My Deal, the host of the Real Estate Anarchy podcast. You all got to go check that out. Go on Spotify, go on iTunes. And I know Ron's going to talk about that. You got to go check out the Real Estate Anarchy podcast and the Wholesaling RE101.com and the Facebook business page where people just drop content. Ron's dropping content on his book, and he's just owner of the merchandise line. He's the founder and creator of the $10 house hack system. And the biggest thing on the Al Nicoletti Show today is the Rana's The Real Estate Investor's Dictionary, the ultimate guide to unlocking your real estate investment knowledge. Right here. We're going to dive in on this book right here. Make sure everybody can see it because Ron's going to talk about all the words and terms that a lot of people think about in the real estate world that they may not know, but also the book is valuable. We'll make sure we fix that, Ron. But also the book is super valuable with training and thoughts and ideas on negotiation and tips and tactics all the way around. So without further ado, I'm telling you, when I bring him on, he's going to rock and roll, and he's just going to be on a roll. So without further ado, Rana. Ron, let's go. Let's do it.
What's going on, guys? Rana here out of Houston, Texas. Al Nicoletti. I have made it. When you're on the Al Nicoletti show, man, where do I sign off now? This is bigger than becoming the president of the United States. All right. When you're on the Al Nicoletti show, baby, you have made it. So thank you so much for having me on the show. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you for the kind words, right? At least somebody appreciates me out there. I don't get much appreciated at home. So thank you, Al, for the kind.
Let's go, Ron. Let's go. Let's dive in, baby.
I usually got my kids kicking me around. They don't know nothing about, best-selling author. They don't know any of that. I'm just dad at home. So wherever I can get the respect, man, I'll take it. So we're going to bring the heat. I promise you guys, if you guys play all out, we are going to play all out. I'm going to play all out. So thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to bringing a ton of value to a lot of your audience members. Man, this is just content. Make sure you guys consume a lot of this content. There's going to be a lot of gems that are going to be dropped. And again, right, I don't do this for a lot of people. I do it for the people that I love and trust. And Al Nicoletti is that guy. He is a gem of a human being, a wonderful personality. So thank you for having me, brother.
Ron, thank you so much for those kind words. I mean, yeah, I got to have you on. You dropped the book. You are helping the community by explaining and dropping this knowledge and giving back with the content. So no, the love is there. Thank you so much for being on and being a guest. I mean, we're going to dive in and dive deep. There's people watching. We're going to get questions as we go. But Ron, what I do for the guests before they, while they're on, before we dive deeper into the wholesaling market, Texas, because we're going to talk about some new rules that came up. Tell everybody your story. I mean, I could read your bio and tell everybody on camera, but there's nothing like you telling your story to people about how did you even get here? How did you even, before you got on the Al Nicoletti show, what was that ride like from before real estate to now?
It's been an insane roller coaster, right? I say this all the time. Entrepreneurs are crazy. We're crazy because we believe in ourselves. We believe in our dreams. We believe in ourselves when nobody else believes in us. There's a saying, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different result, right? So, and that's what we do. We're always out there trying, failing. I'm going to tell you guys, and I'm going to be the first and foremost person, I have failed more than I have succeeded. But I am super, super honored just by saying that, because my success, right, speaks for itself. I come from the auto industry, 11 years in the car business, building rapport, negotiating. I was teaching car sales guys to take money out of your pocket. So, when I got into real estate, it was pretty, it was hard. Yeah, nothing is easy. Everything was earned. I earned all of my badges. But at the end of the day, a lot of my kind of tactics and charisma do come from the auto industry. A lot of my sales techniques do come from the auto industry. And then I've had other jobs too. My first ever job was flipping dough at Pizza Hut, right? We went from flipping dough to flipping properties. And that was when I was 16. I was raised by a single mother out in Alief, Texas. If you don't know what Alief is, it is the hood is one part of the hood in Houston. Raised by a single mother. I've always had this drive, right, to go out there and to do something and become something, right? And none of this would have been possible without the wonderful support of my spouse. She's been amazing throughout this entire journey. And then my 3 children, of course. But when I first started, I had to leave a 401k. I had to leave health insurance. I had to leave a comfortable salary, right? I thought making $100,000 a year in the car business was a lot of money. When you start making that a month in real, man, it's a whole different game changer, right? So again, right, a lot of my background comes from car sales, right? And it's been such an amazing journey. I would not have been able to impact as many people as I do now if it wasn't for real estate, right? We made friends, we made enemies, we made frenemies, we made everybody, right? So again, success is like it's like going up the staircase. The farther you go, the farther everybody's gonna seem. So that's kind of where we are now, and I'm super blessed to be able to be a leader in especially the Texas market, not only the Texas market, in the entire country, right? Because there's so much stuff that we're doing in order to help wholesalers start wholesaling, in order to help people gain the right knowledge, because that's what this business is about. It's about getting the right education from the right people, because there's a lot of miscommunication out there, miseducation out there. So but yeah, for a very long time, I went through all of those bumps and bruises. I bought the courses. I invested the money, right? And I've lost money, but I take those losses as, I don't call them losses, right? I call them learning curves. So there was definitely a lot of expensive learning curves in this business. But at the end of the day, I've also invested a lot of money, right? The best investment you can make is yourself. And trust me, the man in the mirror is the only person you should ever care about.
Ron, those are great tips for a lot of people out there, because investing in yourself is step one, right? You can't start investing in anything else, real estate, others, whatever you're doing, you got to be in that game yourself. So it's really interesting. A lot of the guests that come on, they usually take that background that they have, right, in the automotive sales, and that somehow ties into what they're doing today with the real estate world. What were like 2 to 3 things that you were able to leverage from your learning curves and your experience in that auto sales industry that you even use today and leverage in the real estate world?
I can tell you the top 2 off of definitely. It will be building rapport, number 1, and negotiations. Negotiating and building rapport are the 2 hardest things that people master in this business. So being able to do that and learning from some of the top salespeople in the country in order to master my craft, man, it's been phenomenal. They say everything happens for a reason, right? I always thought that I was going to just be in the car business, right? I moved up the corporate ladder. I did what I had to do, but at the end of the day, I looked at myself and I wasn't growing. I wasn't moving. Right. There's another saying, hire somebody to build your dream. Otherwise, somebody will hire you to build theirs. Right. And that's extremely powerful. You got to understand where that sentence, where that is coming from, where that quote is coming from. Right. And that's extremely true. But what we do is we empower all of our employees. We empower our staff. We empower our company to grow larger, because I don't expect everyone to stay with me, right? At the end of the day, and there's a difference being a leader, right? And being a boss. The leader leads from the front, right? A boss is a double SOB spelled backwards.
Ron's got all of them coming out. So Ron, let me ask you this. So at what point did you get into real estate? What year?
So I got into real estate 2017. So I believe it was the beginning of 2017. I remember because they were talking to me about my 401k. I was like, oh, hold on. So about 2017.
So back in 2017 to now, how was that journey year by year? We're in the first year of being in real estate, was it that kind of struggle, just trying to make those collaborations and networking? And then all of a sudden you notice by 2020, 2021, it shot up and kind of, I mean, you've been doing it with the book and with wholesaling all at the same time. What was that curve like in the real estate market when you got in? For you,
my trajectory happened at the end of 18, actually, because, I came out the gate for about a year or so. I was kind of on the down low. I would go to networking events. I would tell people, hey, I'm an investor. I'm a wholesaler. Do you want to buy properties? What do you, stuff like that. Like, I wasn't as knowledgeable as I am today, but it's not rocket science. I looked at it. I took a step back and I'm like, I got to be out there. You got to be known. This is why Grant Cardone does what Grant Cardone does. This is why a lot. Ed Milet does what Ed Milet does, right? A lot of these guys are out there. They're putting their lifestyle out there. So I was like, man, and I love people. I mean, I'm a people person. I just connect with people. So again, my trajectory happened probably about the end of the 2018 year mark, because for 1 year I was kind of in the background. I was kind of like, just shy a little bit, seeing what's going on,
Right.
feeling out the market, all that stuff. But as soon as people started hearing about in Houston, especially Rana, what's going on here? Like, who is this guy, right? So I bring the same energy that I did back in 18, and it's getting massive and massive. And we've had so many accolades, so many amazing accolades in this industry. But coming out with a book is everything, right? When you have a book, you are the expert. Right. And I heard an individual on YouTube say one time, I was listening to a podcast. I think it was Dan Locke. And he said the word author comes from authority. Right. And I had no intentions to write a book at all. That book behind you took me 1.5 years to write. But the reason why I wrote that book, Al, was because there was no dictionary out there on real estate investing. Every time there was a term, either if it was arbitration, either it was zoning, right? Again, we talked a lot about in the beginning, we talked about miscommunication and miseducation that's happening. And a lot of wholesalers don't know. They just think that, hey, I'm going to take a piece of paper and I'm going to make 10 grand out of it. We're calling wholesalers because I run a very successful disposition outlet in Houston. We're like, okay, well, what does the encumbrances look like? What is an encumbrance, Ron? Come on.
Right.
Here we go. Now I got to educate them for free.
Right.
Which
normally
I don't mind.
They go on Google.
Which I don't mind, right? Or Google, because I gave away so much education for like 3+ years, 4 years. I gave away education. My YouTube channel, we give away free. And then, of course, right, now the book is out. So I just tell them, hey, grab the book. You're going to learn everything. But again, it came down to there is no book like this out there. We talk about neuroplasticity, right? The art of rewiring your brain. We talk about negotiations. There's 7 rules to negotiating, right? The first rule is shut up and listen. It's simple. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, right? So, and we talk a lot about what types of strategies there are when you want to get started in real estate investing. We talk about the dictionary, the terms. The terms itself is worth it. I mean, it's like the Bible of real estate. It's crazy because I'm getting a lot of feedback from people saying, I was looking for this. I couldn't piece it. It was just all over the place, right? So again, right, it's been an amazing journey so far, and I had so much fun writing it. It was one of the hardest things to do. Writing a book is one of the most challenging things you are going to do because it is going to show you who you really are.
Yeah, Ron, this is great because we're going to dive in on what's in the book, and we're not going to reveal everything so people they got to get it. They got to see what's in it, but we're going to dive in on some of the things that you cover. And let me just get it again. I got to keep getting it off the shelf and just showing it in front of the camera. The Real Estate Investors Dictionary. So Ron, tell us while I'm holding it right there so everybody can see it. But how did you get into the idea of doing this book? Like, how did this start? Before we get into it, where did the idea of saying, okay, this isn't out there. We have to have some idea of having words and terms that people have heard all the time, but a quick, easy way to say that's LTV, that is appraisal, that's a probate, that's all these words, right? But also these other things that are in the book about negotiation and neuroplasticity and all of this. Where did this all originate from?
Can I tell you the truth?
Yeah.
My hot tub.
One of those moments, huh? All of a sudden, clicks, right?
It just, the best, Bill Gates said this, the best ideas don't come from meetings. Don't come from the office. It comes from when you're not thinking about it. And that's how the Real Estate Investors Dictionary was born. because I was chatting with my team on WhatsApp. We were going back and forth, and they're kind of like, hey, this wholesaler is asking a bunch of questions. And I was like, go tell them to pick up a dictionary. I'm like, shit, there isn't one.
Right.
So I was like, there's not a dictionary. And I'm like, I go to my wife again with an idea. The last time I went to her with an idea was when I was leaving the auto industry for 11 years. And I go, hey, do you think I should write a real estate dictionary? And she goes, yeah, I think you should. There's none in the market. We looked, right? I'm like, I looked. I really looked. And she's like, you need to do it. And that's how it was born.
Yeah, because you probably saw it, said there's nothing out here like this. So just dive in on it. I haven't looked myself, but I hadn't seen anything naturally on a dictionary for real estate or real estate investors. But this is why it's key, right? It's helping people and investors that don't know what these words and terms are, and all these amazing investors out here like Frank Spalding. Frank, thanks so much for watching. I have Rana. This is high octane, high energy. I told you all guys before he got on, this is what it was going to be. He's going to roll and have it and let us have it the whole time. So Ron, in the book, what are some of the words that you thought were really key, that you were like, this word, this definition of something needs to be in the book? Because I keep getting asked about it all the time, right? Like for me, they'll say, what's probate? What is this? What is that in the probate real estate world? What were some of those words and terms for you that you were like, no, this absolutely has to be in the book, and this is why they need to get the book, buy the book on Amazon so that you can keep it on a shelf and pull it off the shelf and say, that's what that word means. What are some of those words?
The first word is going to be ARV, the after repair value. You know why? Because most wholesalers don't know how to do an ARV.
Right there, right?
So sorry about that. So most wholesalers don't know how to comp a property. They don't know what a CMA is, right? A comparable market analysis. Like they don't know. So those are some of the words that do come up to me, especially not only those, but, as far as like an ARM, right? An adjustable rate mortgage. Sometimes when you're dealing with a seller that's doing a sub 2, you got to figure out what these terms are. Sometimes those terms come up on a subject to, right? Again, right? You have the CC and Rs. Are you familiar with the CC and R?
No, tell everybody.
Covenants, conditions, and restrictions. You're going to have to buy the book in order to know what it is, right? Of course, right? And then they've got so much stuff. I mean, it just hit me that not a lot of wholesalers knew what a deed was, a deed of title, right?
That's
and
crazy.
this book tells you that. It goes, again, it's everything from arbitration all the way to zoning laws. I mean, when I first started, I didn't know what a graduated payment mortgage was. I was like, what is that? Right? Is it like a graduation? Like, I have no idea what a graduated payment mortgage is, right? So it's in the book, right? A lot of people, when they're dealing with fire damaged homes, now you know what a hazard insurance is. Does that make sense?
It does. And I mean, there's words in here that people have asked when I say like when the house is underwater, right? So what does that mean? A deficiency judgment. So I even see you have that in here. People say, what's a deficiency judgment, right? Some people don't even know what that is when they jump into real estate, right? So it's a real help, or deeds of trust, or what deposits are, earnest money deposits are. And I think that helps, because if you don't know and you're just starting out, this is just really quick, right? Of course, you got online, you got everywhere you can look, but if you have it from the wholesaler perspective and an investor perspective, that'll help relate to that, right? So that's key.
Yeah, 100%. Like you just mentioned, if a house been flooded, you can't forget the NHD, which is a natural hazards disclosure. It's a report required by most states to disclose if a property is located in an area that has a higher risk of natural hazards, right? This report is typically paid by the seller and given to the buyer at escrow. A lot of wholesalers don't know that. Right? So this covers a lot of those terms, right? You've got fire hazards, you've got windland areas, you've got earthquakes. Do you think wholesalers in California sometimes deal with earthquakes?
Think so.
Maybe,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
We had Hurricane Harvey in Houston. Do you think when the city of Houston flooded, it would have helped to know, hey, I know what I need to do, or what this term is on a flooded house, right? So there's just a lot of stuff, and I'll be honest with you, PITI, principal, interest, taxes, insurance. Some people don't even know what that is. I mean, you've got your PITI reserve. There's so much information in this book, and truly, I mean, it's a great pocketbook. You need to know where to go for things. You're going to need to know, what a REIT is, a real estate investment trust. A lot of buyers are purchasing properties in a trust, right? As a wholesaler, you need to know what to do with that, what kind of exit strategy to use on this property. So the book definitely goes into a lot of detail in regards to kind of quick claim, REOs. I mean, there's just so much information in the book. It's about 140 plus pages, 13 chapters. You're going to get a lot of value out of this book.
I could even see you making like volume 2, volume 3 with like when you.
Don't do me like that, brother. I got a couple companies to run.
Well, I'll say this is that when you start going to events or you start having more people ask about words when you're at events and you're thinking, wait a second, that word isn't in the book, or maybe there's something that is niche and it isn't in there. Let's just say now you have something that you can expand on, right? Dictionaries have different volumes, right? Over time, different things that come out. So you never know when different things and people ask you those questions. You like that, right?
Absolutely. I'm going to come out with only one gold edition, and that's going to be for Al Nicoletti.
I love it. I love it. I can't wait to see that one. But it's great that you're doing this, right? I think it's helpful for people that don't know what world in real estate with words, and I could just see somebody having that handy when they're dealing with the situation, whether it's in the wholesale or the retail market. So tell us all about the other side, though, to the book. So if you get the book, you'll see that there's really like 2 parts, maybe 3 parts, but there's the dictionary part where you have all the words, comb right through it, find it, alphabetical order. You'll see the word probate in there. It's in there. But then you'll go to the first part of it, and that's where Ron in the beginning was talking about negotiation, neuroplasticity. Tell us about some of these concepts and ideas that you put in this book. Why did you put that in there? What made you put those concepts in there that you felt was important to include in the book?
So the first chapter in the book is all about mindset. Okay, when I first got into this business, Al, I kept hearing all these multimillionaires, all these successful investors talking about having a positive mindset. And I thought to myself, man, that's pretty stupid. Like, how can your mind be able to control your income? Which now I know it's true, right? So the reason why I put mindset, because mindset is the actual foundation of your business. You need to be able to train your mind to think differently. Now, wouldn't you agree with me, Al, that the wealthy think differently than the 99% of the human race?
They probably do.
They do, right? You've got people like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, right? Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Richard Branson. You've got all these people, right? What separates them from all of us? Because at the end of the day, we all have 24 hours in a day. These billionaires and millionaires, they don't have more hours in the day than us. It all comes down to their mindset, how they're going to train their mind in order to conquer their day. And it's true. Once you start thinking positive, right, you start rewiring your brain. Your mindset plays a huge role in your success, because when you're down and when the odds are stacked against you, what is going to come to save you? Your mindset, right? And there's going to be people who are going to try to bring you down at the end of the day, right? You got to keep moving. You got to you got to let go of the negative self-doubts that are holding you back, right? It's kind of like an elephant, right? How do you train an elephant? When you have a baby elephant, they tie a chain around one of its, I don't know what that's husk, or what is that called? I don't know the official word, but the the leg of the elephant.
Right.
But every time it tries to go and gets food, that chain pulls it back, right? And that tells you right there. So that multi-ton elephant can break that chain, but his mind is stopping him because he thinks that chain is going to stop him from getting the food. Does that make sense?
Oh, it does make sense.
Even if it's not attached to anything, you don't have to attach it to anything at all. After a while, after it's been trained, it will not move from its place because it's going to be like, oh, I already know I'm going to get pulled back. That's the power of having the right mindset, right? Is your glass half empty or half full? It's
Have
kind of
full.
like that.
Yeah. How are you seeing it, right? That's the mindset that you have. And when you go into real estate, you have to have that positive mindset, the can-do mindset. There's gonna be a struggle, right? Like Ron, I mean, I'm sure you've got stories for days on different things on the learning curve, but you have to have that mindset. So keep going, because like that is great stuff that you have in the book. So mindset.
Yeah, after mindset is definitely going to be an attitude of gratitude. If mindset is the foundation of a house, being grateful are the bricks of the house. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
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 So why is being grateful so important? Because gratitude shifts your mindset, right? Being thankful gives you room for more abundance to come into your life. Now, I'm not talking about The Secret or the Law of Attraction. Yes, those are great and they've been phenomenal for a lot of people, right? But gratitude is important because what you appreciate is going to increase in value, right? So if I'm waking up every morning, I don't look at my phone first thing in the morning. Why? Because there's bad news on the phone. I
Right.
don't train my mindset to have that bad news. I'll sit there for a good 10, 15 minutes and meditate, think about my day, talk about how grateful I am to have another day to be able to impact someone's life, right? I'm grateful for my students. I'm grateful for my businesses. I'm grateful for my spouse. I'm grateful for my children, to be alive, to be able to impact so many people, right? And there's so many things you can be grateful for at the end of the day, right? Either it's relationships, right? Your happiness. And trust me, when you start practicing this, you start getting less stress in your life, right? Because stress is a silent killer. It truly is an epidemic. People die more of stress than anything. It's a silent killer.
So also tell us about some of these other concepts that you have in the book, like building rapport, right? Whether building rapport with other investors, or maybe lenders or title companies or all the other real estate adjacent people around you. And just so you know, Ron, you're dropping gems, because Robert Rodriguez, Robert, thanks for watching. He's dropping gems right there on the screen. So that's huge. Yeah, just go check out Ron's content too. It's all.
Make sure you guys are dropping your comments. Make sure you're asking questions. Again, this is a phenomenal show, Al. So thank you. If you're tuning in right now, make sure you're dropping all your comments and questions. We love to answer those.
Yeah, we love it. We want engagement, right? We want people asking questions to Ron, how he got here, what he's doing today, anything in the book, because those are powerful things that we could talk about on the show live while we got his attention. Because after today, we don't know. Ron's he's touring around, he's speaking, but we got him right now. So ask away, Robert, ask away, Frank. I see you guys out there. So Ron, talk to us about the concept of building rapport. Because but it can happen with sellers. It can happen with buyers. It can happen with anybody in the real estate and adjacent industry. What are those skill sets that you have to build the rapport?
So building rapport is going to be essential in any personal or professional situation. Every single business is based off of having strong rapport. It is just a critical component to a successful transaction. Whenever we have a buyer that we're selling deals to, we don't talk about the deal. We talk about the buyer. What is the buyer going to use this property for? We're building that rapport. When we're talking to a seller, we want to learn about the seller. There's an acronym that I use, and it's called FORM, and I teach this in the book. If you master FORM, you will never go off of track of building rapport. People do business with people they like and trust. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to, right? It could be a $1 transaction, or it could be $100 million transaction. If I don't like someone, or if they've struck a wrong chord, I'm not doing business with them, no matter how much profit it'll make me, because on the inside, I'm not feeling the same way, right? So again, this is about building rapport. Is very, very, very important, especially in the business world, for sure, right? It is the foundation of having a good negotiation. Does that make sense? A
Oh, it
foundation
does.
for a good negotiation. That's pretty good.
Oh no, it's great because you talk about it in here. You talk about building rapport, and also, it's funny. And on season 1 of my show, Ron, one of the questions I asked at the end of the episode was, "What are one of the best tips and tricks on how you build trust?" Right, whether it's with the network you're in or with sellers, and building that rapport, and some of the tips and tricks you talk about lead into that building trust, whether it's with our network or those sellers, right?
Yeah, I'm going to give you 5 major tips to building rapport. There are a billion. I've narrowed it down for you guys, so you don't have to go out and do that research. Number 1, write this down, guys. Number 1 is going to be provide value. When you provide value to your client, when you provide value to your seller, game over, because they see the value in doing business with you. Does that make sense? Every homeowner is in a different situation. They're going through a death, a probate, right?
There you go.
Job loss. They owe back taxes, repairs on the property, whatever the situation is, right? You cannot be able to solve their problem without building rapport. Number 2, I hope you guys are writing that down, right? Number 1 was providing value. Number 2 is going to be providing strategy. What do I mean by when I say providing strategy? Now, when you're communicating with a prospect, you can't just tell them that you have a solution for their problem. Hey, you need money? I can close on your house, cash, as is, no realtor committed. You know the lingo, Al. You know how we do,
Yeah.
right? You need to be able to provide the strategy to them, right? If you can draw parallels to an existing case study that has that you've solved in a similar requirement or situation, Mr. Seller, feel, felt, found, right? You guys ever heard of that? Right? Mr. Seller, I understand how you feel, right? Again, we know when we're talking to sellers, we know exactly what the situation they're going through, right? Here's what we've found. We've been able to help them out by purchasing the property X, Y, and Z, by blah, 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 blah. It could be anything, right? And then number 3 is going to be understanding their pain. If you do not understand the seller's pain point, you do not have a deal, because that pain point will get you to the finish line. Does that make sense?
Oh, it does. You got to know what's bothering them and what they want.
Absolutely, right? Again, right? I talked about I understand why you feel that way, right? I had another client or customer who had a similar situation that felt the same way. We found this is what works best. Boom, right? Again, finding their pain is critical. It is massive, because they could be going through anything in every situation. I'm going to give you an example. We were talking to a seller one time, and she kept telling us she needed money. She wouldn't tell us why. She kept telling us come to figure it out. Her son had actually filed a false deed on her house, and he's in jail. He wanted the money for him.
Oh, wow.
She was too ashamed to say something about it, right? So we found that out. We went to jail, not got locked up, But it was funny because one of my acquisition people didn't want to go. I'm like, dude, you're just going to jail to get a signature with an attorney. You're not getting locked up.
Right. You're not
Oh,
going to jail.
you know, I was like, okay, well, I'll go. So anyways, long story short, we went there. We spoke to the guy. He understood what he did. He didn't want another. Again, I had an attorney with me because, again, right? But at the end of the day, it was pretty cool because the guy got some money out of the transaction. He knew what he did was wrong. And the mom was able to move on at the end of the day. We wouldn't have been able to uncover that pain point if we didn't build that rapport with her. You know, and the last that I would talk about, actually the second to last, is going to be make a connection. You got to be connected to people at the end of the day, right? You have to have that connection with people. You know, why do we go to a doctor? What? Because we have that connection with that doctor. Does that make sense? We don't just go Google a new doctor every week. No, we're going to go to the doctor that understands, you know, us and our pain point. I hope that's making sense.
No, right, because you build that relationship also with them, so they know what's going on with your life. They know what's going on with you. So, right, you're building that relationship and rapport.
We've saved so many homeowners from distressed situations just by using these techniques. Last but not least is build your trust. People do business with people they like and trust, right? Building trust and having an emotional connection go hand in hand. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So I train my acquisition people to build rapport and build that connection with the sellers.
Yeah, it's all critical for the real estate market. It's critical for building your network and building your foundation. You have to have these foundation. These are building blocks, right, Ron? These are the basic building
100%.
blocks to the network that you're in, that pyramid of getting there and getting to that next level and just having that community connecting with people. That's so big. So I had somebody dropped and said, good info, and later said, what's your email? Let's connect. We're going to make sure that you can find Ron on Instagram, Facebook, his Facebook group where he's amassed over 7,000 people. We'll dive in on a little bit of that because I got to find out how that goes. And then the Real Estate Anarchy podcast. So we'll make sure you get that info. Alan Williams says, Ron's nailing it with rapport concept. It's all about building trust and relationships with people. So there's people like Alan out there that understand that this is what it takes to build those foundational building blocks to getting to the next level. Frank Spalding out there, he put the rocket ships. Yeah, look, Frank, I bring on these guests. I'm bringing on high energy, high octane, full of knowledge people that are out there in the real estate market. You got one right here, Rana. So, you know, that's the rockets. You're building your network. You're getting to know more people in the network. And then Why Sit Still says excellent perspective, action steps. Right? That's so funny. Action steps. That's one of the things that a lot of the coaches or a lot of the real estate investors that have been doing it a while talk about. Like, you need to have step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, because your mind, right, Ron? I'm sure you've seen this in experience. Your mind can go in so many different directions. And if you don't have that focus, you can go off with the shiny new object and you're done. Right. So talk to us about having those action steps and organization, which is so important in the real estate world.
Absolutely. You know, to add to what we were just talking about, you know, and I want to definitely say this. It's a quote by Stephen Covey. He says, the biggest communication problem is that we do not listen to understand. We listen to reply. The biggest communication problem is we do not listen to understand. We listen to reply. That is powerful. We live in a microwave era. We want everything quick, right? And I don't blame them. NFT, Bitcoin, Amazon, Facebook, wholesaling. Like, it's crazy out there. It's the Wild West, right? Everybody wants to become an overnight success, an overnight millionaire, right? But they don't understand that you have to take these necessary steps. And life is not about living in a microwave. You don't get everything instant like a Hot Pocket. Right. I remember I'm giving away my age now. You remember Hot Pockets back in the days?
I do.
I used to love them.
They're still around, right? Yeah.
I think so. I don't know. I asked my son the other day. He's like, well, is that like a tablet? Is that a new tablet? I was like, what? I use Hot Pocket. Like it was so funny. He's 9 years old. But he didn't know what a Hot Pocket was. Anyways, long story short, listening is an art. At the end of the day, when you become an active listener and you try to understand the seller's deepest motivations and you find out what their needs are, that's when you're going to get the deal. That's kind of what it is, right? And now we can move on and say, what is active listening, stuff like that, right? So it's all in the book. I don't want to give away too much either, but at the end of the day, there's so much knowledge that's just packed in the book. It's not a big book at all, but it should be at least like this, even more knowledge packed into that book. So I didn't believe in the smoke and mirrors and having the clout and stuff like that. Like, you won't see me in my Bentley in my book. You won't see me on vacation in my book. It's not about me. This is about you and getting you results. And that's why I came out with the book. Does that make sense?
Hey, that's great. I mean, that was the motivating factor. And you're really talking about tapping into that emotional state, or those pain points with sellers to figure out what their needs are, what their wants are. And these are these steps to get there, right? So all of these little things, but basic concepts too, that a lot of people miss and overlook, which is important to know. So Ron talks about that in his book. Again, let me get it off the shelf, Ron, so we can put it right there. I think we've done this like 10 times already, but we got to keep doing more, right? The Real Estate Investor's Dictionary and the ultimate guide to unlocking your real estate knowledge. I mean, this is really trying to understand and have that active understanding of the book and the words and terms. So you find it on Amazon. Just go into Amazon, type in that book right there. Type Rana. If you go right there and you hit enter, you should see this book.
We'll pop up number one on, it's going to pop up the first thing on Amazon. Also, if you go to www.realestateinvestorsdictionary.com, it'll take you straight to the Amazon link.
It's great. No, it's great. I mean, you got so many things in here, Ron. Ron, also, I mean, we can see the sign that says money never sleeps behind you. But one of the big things about you with the high energy is, I don't want to make sure the book falls off the shelf. Make sure that you have that hustle and you keep that hustle, right? And so that's another theme that you talk about in the book, which is never lose the hustle. Always keep the hustle going. And that's why you have those motivating things even around you. Talk to us a little bit. Don't tell everybody about it in what the chapter that is in the book and everything in it, but a little glimpse of what it is to never lose the hustle.
Absolutely. Never lose the hustle means don't give up on your dreams. You have to work hard in order for your dreams to become a reality, right? And I'm all about the hustle. At the end of the day, I'm not talking about swindling people. No. I'm talking about actual working hard, going out there and building a lifestyle that you want to build, because no one is going to come out and do this business for you. No one is going to come out and make those phone calls for you. One day those phone calls is going to be £5. One day that phone is going to be £5, and one day that phone is going to be 30,000 pounds. Let that sink in, because you're not going to want to pick that phone up. You're going to be like, oh, it's too heavy. It's too heavy. Right. But yeah, there is a chapter, which is chapter 5. It's called Never Lose the Hustle. And I mirror that with your passion. If you're passionate about things, man, you can wake me up at 3 a.m. Let's go. Right. And hustling is an art of earning something. Right. That's all it is. Hustling is an art at the end of the day. Right. Hustlers don't wait until they have something. They go out and they get it. Right. A hustler is someone who's ambitious, who inspires, who aspires, right? Who is passionate about what they're doing. Now, you have to have the hustler's mentality, right? It's a commitment to get ahead no matter what, to never give up. And when you do fall, right? You don't just stay there, right? When life hits you, you don't stay there. You get back up and you say, you just hit like a bitch. I'm back up, baby. What's going on? Right? Excuse my language, but that's kind of what it is, right? When you adapt and embrace many of the facets of the hustle mentality, nobody can knock you down. My company was taken away from me. My employees were taken away from me. It's okay. Rana built that company, right? I can rebuild, and we have rebuilt, right? The pandemic hit. We all went virtual, right? My companies went virtual. We saw our business go from here, right? So it's been a phenomenal journey. And I'm so excited to be able to, again, impact so many people, and as you can see, I'm not in my house, right? Now the pandemic is kind of cooling down and all that good stuff, right? We just moved in a 7,500 square foot office. It's massive,
Wow,
right?
that is
We're going
huge.
to help people grow. We're going to help investors grow. And this is what the hustle mentality is. People cannot kick you down. Every time I come out with something, they're like, man, I want to be that person where people are like, man, this motherfucker don't know how to quit, right? Like, right? I mean, we might do a beep those lines. But again, right? You have to become that person who inspires people. You got to keep going. You got to keep having that hustle mentality because you never know who's watching you. You never know. And the person who watches you the most is always a hater. It's always going to be. Haters watch you the most and they'll watch you more closely than anybody. Give them something to talk about, right? Grant Cardone says it the best. Like me or hate me, now you know me.
Rana right there. So people are dropping comments right here. Robert Rodriguez is a fan. I mean, he said even before he follows you, he's got your book and everything. He says being passionate, right? Being
100%.
passionate, that's key. And then having a determined mind. So these are this is the mindset thing that you're talking about. That's key to going into that real estate world. And like you said, to shifting your market and your strategy now that the pandemic's kind of sizzling down a little bit. Now you're more in person and doing things in the studio and the office. So that's huge. So Ron, for a lot of people, I talked about it in the beginning, but for a lot of people that don't know or that have just tuned in, you're in the Texas market. You're in the Houston, Texas market, but you're also, doesn't matter, US. You'll go virtual, you'll tap into other markets, but in Texas, a lot of different things have been changing a little bit. And I know backstage and on the calls, we were like, we got to talk about this. Ron really wanted to dive into this. What are some new changes and different things that have been going on in the Texas wholesaler market or the real estate market?
Yeah, and thank you for touching base on this very important topic. Texas, last Friday, the TREC, which stands for the Texas Real Estate Commission, they sent out an email to all their hundreds of thousands of realtors asking them about wholesaling. That has never, ever happened. That comes down to now TREC is looking to regulate wholesaling. Illinois has regulated wholesaling, right? Philadelphia has regulated wholesaling. Oklahoma has regulated wholesaling. I knew this was coming down the pipeline. I just had a feeling. Sure enough, Friday, there was an email sent out to a bunch of realtors. That's like asking a cat what they think about a dog. Like, it doesn't make sense. Why would you ask a realtor when realtors are watching us making $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in half of the time frame that they're closing a property, right? FHA or anything like that. So long story short, what's happening right now in our market is Texas is exploring options and seeing how they are going to be regulating wholesaling. Now, this is not a conversation that has just happened. This has been happening for years and years and years. But I'm going to tell you what. Why did they start taking action now? Is because Oklahoma, Illinois, Pennsylvania. So it's all coming down at the end of the day, right? And we're here at the down south. So what goes up must come down. And absolutely. And to be honest, I'm up for the regulation. I truly am. Why? Because it weeds out a lot of the bad apples in this industry. Today, we had an amazing event with the directors of TREC and HAR, chairman of HAR, Houston Association of Real Estate. Houston Association of Realtors. Now, Houston has a 3 million plus population. Do you think the chairman has time to sit down with Rana to talk about wholesaling? He doesn't have the time. But guess what? We're making so much major moves in the city that he had to sit down with us.
He
We
has.
had a full Q&A. We had a town hall meeting. It was amazing. Opened their eyes to what we do, and they, at the end of the day, I'm up for regulation because it's going to weed out a lot of the unethical practices that are happening. A lot of the guys out here, a lot of the individuals, guys and gals, are going on YouTube University and learning how to put a property under contract, right? And rewinding the video and then rewinding the video, and then they're not getting the right mentorship. And that's what I've always been anti-guru. Always. When I got into education a year and a half ago, a little over a year and a half ago, we started teaching, coaching, and mentoring students, and our students have had phenomenal success. So far, I've been able to produce $1 million student. It's amazing. $1 million in real estate is a big deal. So we've been able to do that for that student. But at the end of the day, again, it all comes down to ethics and morale. What are your morals? What are your ethics? And I agree just to an extent that it is a good thing. It definitely is, right? And hey, if you got to pay a fee to be a wholesaler, you pay a fee to register your car. You pay a fee to, anything. There, look on your receipt. There's always a state and a local tax. I mean, you can't get around this. And there's a saying, make the trend your friend. Make the trend your friend. Those who know how to adapt, pivot, and evolve are the ones that are going to survive. Write that down, guys. That is powerful.
Ron, we're going to make sure we make so much great micro content from just that alone. We're going to make that great video right there. And this is all great tips for people out there that are listening about where the market's shifting. And I mean, you've seen it more than I, so I don't know what's going on in Oklahoma and some of these other places, but I mean, it's changing a little bit, right? With Oklahoma and now going down to Texas, and who knows, making its way over. But if you have the ability to pivot and change and be flexible into different strategies, whether it is in wholesale or maybe shifting into something like Airbnbs, if you have that mindset, you'll make it happen, right? And so, Ron, you have a coaching program. You take on students, right?
Yes, so we do have a full-on coaching program. It's wholesalingre101.com, where we coach and mentor many students who want to learn this business the right way. I have many students who are realtors. I have many students who are new to the game. I have a student who is a buyer of mine, an investor who came in and said, Ron, you're making too much money off of me. Teach me what you do. Right. And we did that. Again, I'm all about an abundance mentality. I'm all about having the right abundance and helping people. Right. Because you can't live in a crab society. Do you know what a crab society is? It's like having a bucket of crabs. Right. When one crab wants to go up and he's about to escape, that little sucker right there grabs him right down. Right. Like, where are you going? You got to stay with us. You cannot have a crab mentality. So yes, we do educate our students the right way in order to get a deal. I am the founder of the $10 house hack system, where we get properties under contract for just $10. And on average, my students are getting their first deal within 2 weeks of joining the program. It is massive, right? And we train you, we coach you, we develop you, we show you exactly the step-by-step, guide in order to get started in this business, right? And here's what it is, Al. You're going to pay one way or another. You're going to pay for not having a mentor, and you're going to pay for having a mentor, right? And it gets pretty expensive. Trust me. One of the best things that, it gets pretty expensive if you don't have a mentor, but one of the best things you can do is invest in yourself and invest in the right mentorship program. So yes, we do train people one-on-one. The reason why we have an office is we've opened up seminars. So we have a lot of traction there, which is phenomenal. And then again, it's a space for my students, a creative idea space. The Money Never Sleeps I have about 80 iconic pieces in my office. I'm going to move this right here. Yeah, look at this. It only takes one yes for success. Right. And then we're gonna come around right here. Right here. Hold on.
We're getting toward the Rana office. There we go.
There we go. We got the hustle, the limitless. Absolutely. Right. But the ultimate piece that I got in my office is going to be this bad boy right here.
There it is.
There's no bigger flex than having your picture behind you. Right.
And on your shirt and on the mug and on the show.
And on your mug.
The mug. Yeah, you're doing it.
You know, it was funny because one of my friends was like, "Bro, are you coming out with a new boxer line too, or what?"
I wouldn't be surprised, right?
I do not want my face on somebody's crotch.
You never know. All these different brands and different ideas. You're making the book, the mug. Ron, it's great that you're doing this with the book promotion. You know, we got to make sure people can follow you on the Instagram, Facebook, on the Facebook page, the group. Tell everybody about the group, because I know that's a big thing for you with how many people are on it and all the content that gets dropped on it.
Yeah, we've got over 100,000 plus followers on social media, and we're growing every single day. I created this group years ago to give out, again, content. We still give out free content from YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. There's so much content that you can get, but sometimes somebody needs that extra push, that extra holding your hand. What we do is we hold your hand and we walk with you. We build with you. So there's so much stuff that we do with our students that no other mentorship does. I mean, a lot of these guys sometimes think they're good enough to walk properties with students. We do property tours. One time out of the year, my students come from out of town and we go and we look at properties together. Anyone who's local in Houston, when they want me to go out and take a look at a property with them, I go. I make time because this has to do with their success. I'm going to go back to Louver's story, who was a buyer of mine. On his first deal coming into the program, within 2 weeks, he made a $48,000 assignment fee. And he's a buyer. He's a multimillionaire. Again, right? What is the fastest way to grow is not knowing everything. He knows how to Airbnb. He knows how to flip. He knows how arbitrage works. He knows how VRBO works. He knows all of it. He just didn't know what wholesaling does, right? So he's like, Ron, I'm paying you 18 grand per contract, right? And you're selling me all these deals. I'm like, all right, well, now we get to partner with a lot of our students, right? Someone like we have realtors coming in, closing multiple deals a month. Just when you have that first check, I mean, $10,000 check, it's a game changer. I have, 2 students that came from the auto industry, built a multi-million-dollar wholesaling company, right? So car guys do really, really well in this industry. So they've been able to quit their jobs, of course, and do this business full time. This is all about leaving a legacy. Why did I leave the car business, right? I wasn't money poor. I was time poor. There's 2 types of people in this world. There's going to be people who are time poor, and then there's going to be people who are money poor. He who has time doesn't have money. He who has money doesn't have time, right? So I thought making that 100 grand a year was a lot of money in the car business, but I didn't have the time. I was missing birthdays. I was missing anniversaries. I was missing precious moments with my children, right? But this industry has been so phenomenal to me, and I'm extremely, extremely grateful to this industry for giving me that type of lifestyle. I come from I was raised by a single mother. I told you in the beginning, my story, right? I wouldn't be able to be the father or husband I am without, the right upbringing too, at the end of the day, right? And that plays a big part of my success, right? Along with so many other different factors, because I'm not a silver spoon, baby. But, and that's what the first thing is, I tell my students, if you want to make a lot of money, don't become my student. When you come in with that notion, you're not going to, dude, this is not for you, because there's going to be points in some months say, hey, I want to make a lot of money, but how far is that really going to go? Right now, if you tell me I want a better life for my children, I want a better life for my family, I'm tired of working 9 to 11 at night. Like I was doing that in the car business. I was working, it's called bell to bell, ding to dong. I was working, I would go in at 7 a.m. I would come home at 10 p.m. I had no life, right? So I wanted to buy back that time. So what we do is we help students buy back time. Along with that, they make a shit ton of money. So, hey, when you got the time, you got the money, let's go, right? So that's what it really comes down to at the end of the day. And I'm extremely proud of the wholesaling real estate, the WRE 101 community. We call it the WRE 101 universe. So if you guys want to connect with me and learn about our mentorship program, you know what? I'm going to give them my cell number. Can I give everyone my cell number on the show?
Go for it. You can give them your email, cell. Go for it.
Let's go. 832-501-3464. 832-501-3464. That is a main line to me. Make sure you guys text, say, hey, I saw you on Al's show, right? I'm interested in your mentorship program. We have a special promotion for all of you guys who come in through Al Nicoletti, and we'll make sure we take care of you guys. I want you guys to be able to change your life and your family's life as I have. Right? If I can do it, you guys can do it. Trust me. There's nothing special about me at all. And I can say that for sure because I wear my pants one leg at a time too. I mean, it is what it is. So, but at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're humble and you're grounded. Money changes a lot of people, right? Now, we can go to the notion. I'm running on a tangent here a little bit, but people say, money is the root of all evil. It's not. It's the use of the money that's the root of all evil, right? So there's a lot of guys out here who are absolutely killing it. I met some of the nicest, wealthiest people ever, and they've had money, right? So that's kind of what it is. I hope that little snippet was able to provide a lot of value to you guys. So, and then when you go to the website, wholesalingre101.com, you're going to see an entire library of testimonials, real people. And that's what it is, right?
Ron, this is all great content for everybody out there that's watching. I mean, everything from learning about what it's like to be even be in that student realm, and then you explaining like what it's like being, hey, this is a whole different industry, a whole different market. This is what you're looking for. This is all great content for people out there. We have Why Sit Still says, what's the Facebook group? We'll make sure we put that. I think we have the Chiron up there, but that is that Wholesaling RE101 Facebook group. Rana, you'll see him standing there. We'll bring the book. It's this picture right there, right? That's the one. When you see
it's an old picture. It looks like me when I was like 16 years old. That's how long I've been in this business.
You've been doing it. Hey,
yeah.
Let's make sure, and we're gonna plug the book again, but let's make sure, tell everybody how they can find you. You can read off the phone number again, but tell everybody the Instagram. We'll put it up too, but Instagram, Facebook, how can everybody reach you?
Yeah, so my Instagram is @RonRana1. Okay. And then of course, you can connect with me on Facebook. If you want to connect with me on all the social media platforms, just go to ronrana1.com. RONRANA1.com. It'll take you to the Facebook group. It'll take you to the education website. You can fill out an application, right? Because we don't accept everybody. We don't need everybody at the end of the day. But we want the people who are serious about changing their life and their commitment to their craft. And then you'll be able to find out information about the Real Estate Investors Dictionary. So it's been it's been an amazing journey, and I wouldn't have met as amazing people like Al if I wasn't in real estate. He'd probably come and buy a car from me. I'm like, what do you do? He's like, I'm in probate. Man, you're buying a Ferrari, you're in probate. What?
I remember that. You're like, what is it that you do? I'm the probate guy, right? So that was great. It was great. Ron, tell everybody before we wrap up the show and give our final words, final thoughts from Rana. Plug the book. Tell everybody where they can find it. Again, on Amazon. Where is it? Give that plug.
Absolutely, guys. I'm going to grab it here from my back shelf so I can show you guys. So again, this is the Real Estate Investors Dictionary, right? In order to find the book, you can look it up on Amazon. Go to Amazon, search Ron Rana. It'll pop up. If you go to realestateinvestorsdictionary.com, the book will be on there. I mean, this book itself, it's going to teach you so many lessons. I've even put my company core values on the back: gratitude, integrity, excellence, culture, work ethics, teamwork. All right. Not only that, when you buy a book on Amazon, I give you a copy of the real estate contract that I use.
Huge
Boom.
value. That's huge.
Major value. But wait, there's more. I not only give you a copy of the contract that I use, I also give you a free copy of the property worksheet. What to look for whenever you go out and take a look at a property. It's not always about AC, roof, and foundation, although those are the most three important things that you're going to look for because they're the most expensive, right? You're going to get a property worksheet. Is it pure beam? Is it slab? Is it what kind of wiring is in the house? That property worksheet will guide you. And trust me, you're going to want to look like a professional whenever you're in front of a seller. You're going to get that for free. Not only that, wait, there's more. Whenever you buy the book, it's only $14.97 or $14.95 on Amazon. I give you access to my seller objection vault. That means that has every single objection that a seller gives you. From I got to talk to my dog, to I got to talk to my spouse, till, hey, I might talk to you next week, right? It tells you every single rebuttal, and that is included with every single purchase in the book. That seller objection library itself is $4.97 all day. I could sell that all day for $4.97 and be happy. But you guys get everything for free in this book. Again, I'm all about giving back to the real estate community. I don't know what else I can do for you guys. I might give away my Bentley one day. I don't know. Maybe we just might give away a free Bentley, right? But then again, it's all about your journey, your Bentley, your life, your children. It's about your lifestyle. So make sure you guys go out and purchase the book, right? And of course, I would be doing injustice to myself if I wasn't asking for reviews. So, I hope and I pray that you guys really enjoy the book, right? It's taking me a very, very long time to put together. It's got a lot of information that's just packed in the book itself. So leave us a review. Tell us what you think about it. And, I love to connect with you guys too. So if you're watching the show right now, right, and you do purchase a book, I want to give you guys an extra value just for being on the show and watching us. I'll give you a free 30-minute consultation with me, one-on-one with me, just because you saw me on the Al Nicoletti show. I have never done this in the years that I've been in real estate. I've never done this on any other podcast.
Wow, that's a huge value add. And let's make sure we put the phone number up there so that, you can reach Ron, but that's huge, Ron. I really appreciate that, right? So the audience is watching, they're getting great value from this. And these are value adds with the book, the Real Estate Investors Dictionary.
Make sure you guys text us. Don't call. Don't call the number, please.
Text the number.
My manager is going to be pissed off. Ron, did you give my number? Because our numbers are connected.
All value adds, all value. People will be texting it and blowing up the text, but
text in, absolutely. And let me know that you guys got some. Don't call, guys. Don't call.
Yeah, Robert Rodriguez right there.
Yeah. 501-3464. All right. Make sure you guys let us know that you've either purchased the book. I'll give you a 30-minute consultation call. Let's get you started. Let's start your journey. Let's go, baby. This is go time. 2022 is your year. It doesn't matter what happened in 21, 20, 19, 18. Pandemic came, and is now out the door, right? No matter it's Ronnie Cron, Omnicron, bullshit, whatever it is, whatever Cron, old Megatron, right? And whatever kind of Cron it is, don't worry about it. We're all gonna make money, man. In Megatron.
I'll tell you, nothing like the real estate market, Ron. Nothing like it. So before we wrap it up, I do this for my guests because we could take so many different parts of the whole show, the last hour, almost and a half that we've been on, and package it into one. But one of the best things that we have on the show before we wrap it up is final words, final thoughts on anything Rana's thinking about to wrap up the Al Nicoletti show.
Fail forward, fail fast, 100%. I always tell people, the biggest thing people are afraid of is failure. I tell you guys, embrace your failure. The quicker you embrace your failure, the faster you will succeed.
Boom. You have it right there. Take it from Rana, right? He's been in this industry. He's seeing it. He's seeing it in a different market than Florida. He's seeing it in Texas. So Ron, thank you so much for being on the Al Nicoletti show. Thank you so much for coming on. Always bringing your energy. right? Like I told him from the beginning, you had this energy. Even when I get off, I'm like, wow. I mean, Ron let it rip. I mean, he told everybody about the book. He told everybody about what the market, how he got there, what it's like, and some of these core things to building your foundation to getting there, right? A lot of these concepts that a lot of people overlook and getting there. And a lot of that is in the Real Estate Investors Dictionary. Check it out. Rana. Ron, thanks so much again.
Thank you so much for having me on your show, brother. It was a true honor. It was a true privilege. And it was absolutely amazing. You're such a great human being, man. I cannot tell you what good-hearted person you are. And I feel your aura coming from the screen. And that's that, you've got such a great following too. So anything I can do to, provide value to you and your following, please let me know. It's always unconditional on my side.
Love it, brother. Thank you so much for being on. That's huge. All the value adds from Rana. Ron, I can't wait for people to give those reviews, get in touch with you, be a part of the Facebook groups. It's going to be amazing. So I will see you soon, brother. We're going to wrap it up, but thank you again. And I can't wait till it comes out with all the micro content out on the mainstream. So I'll see you soon, brother.
Take care, guys. Rana signing out.
Love it. Love it. Wow, what a jam-packed episode that was. I told you all from the beginning that when Ron was going to get on, it was going to be high energy, high octane. He was going to dive in on the Real Estate Investors Dictionary book. Let's put it up one more time. So he's backstage. He sees it. We're going to put it up one more time right there. We got it on the Al Nicoletti shelf because when the guest comes on, they got something, whether it's a mug, whether it's a pen, whether it's a hat. I mean, look at the wall of podcast guests that have been on the show right here. I mean, just incredible stuff. I mean, Ron dropped so many golden gems, nuggets that people can take and go back and watch. Start from the beginning. If you jumped in late, go back and watch tons of content from Ron. He breaks it down. He breaks different parts of his book down. He didn't say everything because that's getting the book off Amazon. Go find it. It's out there. And I mean, I'm going to get off the show and be like, wow, that was a great episode. Thank you, Ron, for being on. And for more amazing guests that have been on the Al Nicoletti Show, make sure you go back to season 1. Go back to season 1, go back to season 2 to see all the guests that have been on the Al Nicoletti Show, whether it was on the Zoom calls I was doing or now in the studio. And I mean, there's just tons of content, tons of episodes on different things like Rana's and like things on self-directed IRAs and more to Airbnbs. We had an Airbnb month last year on the Al Nicoletti Show on season 2. So check out all of the amazing content out there and anything on the YouTube channel, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, iTunes, whether it's on YouTube as well with probate, partitions, quiet title, all the crazy and weird and different things in the real estate world. I can't wait for next week. Thank you all for staying tuned. And Robert, and I love the engagement. Thank you, Robert, Frank, Adrian, Why Sit Still? I mean, Why Sit Still? Thanks for participating in this. But thank you all for being engaging and asking questions and dropping the comments. It is so huge to do that on the show. So I will see you all next week on the Al Nicoletti Show. Have a great night. I'll see you then.